late in the day. We're about to take off and eat lunch, but look what showed up, but a couple of HD5s. So I found myself a medium. Ross is over here on a large HD5. Going to compare it to his favorite bikes he was just cruising around on. So I'm excited to try it out with all that talk. It's actually a pretty light bike for the size. There's the DW-Link rear suspension down there. 27.5. What's the suspension? Does travel on this, you know?
I think it's 170 front, 155 in the back.
Okay, so tons of travel. This is going to be our last ride at Outerbike 2019 Moab. Let's do this. Here we go. Team HD5. Oh, these Ibises, right?
Yep.
Go for it. Quick, someone's coming. It's Dr. Evil. This is our last ride at Outerbike 2019. We're on Ibis HD5. I'm on a medium. So far, I'm really liking it. Nice and lightweight. Just sailing over that stuff. Yeah. Okay, so first impressions of this bike, it is outstanding. This was the longest travel bike I rode, but it didn't at all feel like it. It was crazy. I don't know if it was just the suspension setup or just because it was such a light and maneuverable bike, but wow. Had the most suspension, but it didn't all feel plush like you would think a long travel bike would have. It was just
I almost stacked
awesome.
Right there.
You did?
Yeah. For comparison, the Pivot I rode earlier, which actually has less travel than this one I'm on now, felt more plush than this one. Maybe it just had more sag put in it, or what, but don't know. This bike was awesome. So here I am at the top of what you'd call the climb on this route. And one of the outstanding features of this bike is the DW-Link suspension, which again is Dave Weigel and his magic suspension design, which I think helped it climb really well. Another thing that adds to its climbing ability is the relatively steep seat tube angle. And then the awesome handling comes, I think, from that pretty slack head tube angle there. So this bike was, again, one of my favorite bikes I rode. It was the last one I rode, and it really gave me an outstanding impression from the whole event. So I really like this Ibis HD5. Awesome bike. Let's check it out on a little bit of what the downhill is in this area. Very maneuverable for a longer travel bike. Even now, thinking back, I'm still so amazed at how well it handled, which usually I attribute to a shorter travel bike. But this had the travel if you needed it, which I guess is just the geometry of the bike and that DW-Link suspension, which is a great setup. So well-engineered bike. Right all over that stuff. I mean, granted, what we're riding on here isn't exactly an aggressive trail, but my buddy I'm riding with actually ended up buying an HD5, so hop over to his channel if you want to see some kind of more gnarly trails he's taken it on and how it's handled it. My impression of this bike was just outstanding. Couldn't get better than this, I don't think. However, there is the factor of cost. So this is an Ibis, so it's one of the more expensive bikes on the market. The one I'm riding now is probably close to $7,000-$8,000 because it's got XD components. I think they start at around $4,500 for pretty, I think Eagle NX or something like that. But so I mean, I guess you get what you pay for, though. I mean, this is an outstanding bike, but it's also outstanding on your wallet too. So. Ibis.
Comes the M.E.Cyclist HD5. Yeah.
That was fun. I like this bike
Yeah.
a lot. Like I should be tired right now, but this makes me more peppy.
Yeah, biking in the day. I love that ride.
Hey, speaking of Ibis.
Ritmo.
Yeah.
Ritmo!
Yes! Woo! Thanks. Well, this bike is so weak.
A tough decision to make.
So how's the 4 compared to this? Like, cause I could probably get a used 4 for a lot less than the 5. What do you think?
There's 10 mils less travel on the fork.
Okay.
It's I think half a degree less slack.
Okay.
And I think it's not as steep head CT
Oh, so there's quite a big few changes they made, huh?
I think the rear travel is the same.
Okay. That was killer fun. You see how energized I was?
Yeah.
This bike is so much. It's probably because it's just the lightweight.
Yeah.
This is probably like an $8,000 bike, huh?
The ones we're riding?
Yeah.
Probably.
All right, I'm going to take one tour and then stop at Ibis. Turn in my favorite bike, I think.
You're going to go around the whole thing?
Yeah. This bike was so much fun. I love this bike. Fun. We're gonna make one last pass through the whole venue so you can see what it's like. We'll park our bike back at the Ibis and get some lunch. So Yeti, one of my favorites, the SB140. I like that one.
There you go.
Didn't get a chance to get an Alchemy
That'll just create a bunch of
or Can-Am, but I think they mostly have 29s. That's why there. Okay, it looks like they're cleaned out here. Did not ride either of these. I rode 2 different Canyons and I like them both. Canyons I enjoyed. Evil I rode. That was a fun one. Really started coming alive and you were hard on it. Bizarre, my buddy rode one of those. Buddy rode one of those. I think the one I'm on right now is the Moto HD5. Definitely one of my favorites. Everyone's breaking down here. There's Janet. I'm gonna have a chance to ride Janet. But a couple Marines really like that one, and a Pivot. Pivot had some good travel. I rode 2 different Konas and I enjoyed those. Rocky Mountain didn't have my size. Giant didn't have a 27. And here we are back to the Ibis booth. Love it. That was so much fun. Outerbike 2019.
Bye, Outerbike.
Alright, bye-bye Outerbike Moab. Here we are walking out Outerbike Moab 2019. Both like the speaker.
I was lying on the grass on Sunday morning of last week, indulging in my self-defeat.
We had a good time out here in Moab Outerbike. Rode probably 10 or 12 different bikes.
Yeah, a lot more than I thought we would.
And I ended up preferencing 27.5s.
Same here.
Kind of mid-travel, with the exception of the Ibis HD5, which is a longer travel bike, which both of us like, so it was pretty awesome. I just got to dig up $6,000 or $8,000. We'll go get one.
We'll go rob a bank.
That was a lot of fun. So
Just need a wheel, man.
yeah, so that was fun. I think we'll do an outer bike every other year or two, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Maybe do Crested Butte next time.
Yeah. So there we go. Bye bye. Outerbike Moab 2019.